Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Illuminate session where we're being joined by Brittany Schmidt,
Hello.
who, let me just pull up her bio here. Brittany is a psychic medium, holy fire Reiki master teacher, a spiritual entrepreneur who bridges science and spirituality. Through her programs, Lean In, Spark Your Senses, Manifest That Shit, and Hello from the Spirit Side, she helps people regulate their nervous system, rewire the subconscious, and trust their intuition. Brittany is the creator of the Conscious Creatures Oracle deck, which I just received my copy just a few minutes ago. And Brittany blends energy healing, somatics, and neuroscience with grounded humor to help people embody their magic, lead with authenticity, and live abundantly. So thank you so much for joining me here today, Brittany. And we didn't get to record it on my end, but you guys can head to Brittany's Instagram account and see me unveiling my own deck here. So tell me about this deck. What inspired this deck? What?
I love it. Like I'm obsessed with it. It took me 9 months, I guess, 8 months. So when I became a healer, I guess that's what you would call it. Or I was like tuning into my gifts, figuring out what I was doing. I started with the Spirit Animal Oracle deck by Colette Reed Barron.
Okay.
My very first deck. It was the one I used for all my readings, all of any Oracle readings, anything that I do, was that deck. So I thought, well, why not create a Canadian version of that deck and infuse my own energy into it? And, my mom, when she passed, she came through with a lot of animals all the time. And then my husband's dad passed a couple years ago, and he's all about the animals, like the hawks, the bald eagles, the fish, which is how the fish ended up in the deck. So I definitely just felt called to create something, my own version of it, so that I could feel really connected to it. And when I received them last week, I was like nervous to open the box because I was feeling, oh my gosh, what if it's anticlimactic? And then I feel like sad about it or something. And then I opened it and I was like, oh wow, there's so much energy. Like I just love them. So I kind of bless each one with the Holy Fire Reiki and clear any energy that doesn't serve, because in transition, etc., when they're getting to me, who knows who touched them. So
Yeah.
clearing all the energy of that and then bringing forward this beautiful creation that is my brand colors. And then the peacock on the front, he was inspired by my neighbor. So we live on a small property. It's like about an acre. And then our neighbor has like a funny farm, we call it, basically. And there was a peacock that every time I did a mediumship session, he was outside on the back patio, and my clients would just walk out and here's this peacock. So we called him Reginald, and he belonged to the neighbor and really liked to hang out on our property. And unfortunately, he passed. The coyotes got to him, so he didn't like to go home.
Yeah.
So then he really went home.
Yeah.
It's a terrible joke, but he really went home.
Yeah.
So he's on the deck, and he's
What a cool way to honor him and
Right?
even honor like part of your mediumship journey and
Yeah.
everything. Because when I first met you, I believe we were at Kyprio's restaurant and it was like this little 2 hour workshop or something that I was doing.
Yep.
And then you came in shortly after for a reading and whatnot. And who you were then versus who you are now, it's like you've gone through this complete transformation. And it is so awesome to witness.
Thank
And
you.
I admire you so much. And just watching all of the things that you're doing, it's like you are the woman to be following.
Thank you. I really, coming from you, that really means a lot, because like I said to Catherine before we started this video, like she kind of popped my mediumship cherry.
Fair enough.
She's got a yoni on the wall, so I had to
it's-
pop the cherry.
My head was hiding it, but
So coming to her, experiencing her gifts, I had gone to a couple other mediums as well over the years after my mom passed away. And what I came to realize after I stopped putting it away was that I've actually always seen spirits. So like when I was a child, my grandfather passed, and we were told, you don't talk about it, you don't make anybody upset. And I would say that it kind of felt like as a child that death was vilified, right? So that you don't talk about it, you don't want to make anybody angry. But we went up in the elevator to my grandmother's apartment, and he was in the elevator with us. And when we all got out, I looked back and I was like, bye, Papa. And everyone flipped out. And so I kind of tucked it away then, thinking that it wasn't safe to talk about. And I mean, I used to say other crazy shit like, I can change the weather. Because I really believed that I could. I would sit in the car while my parents were showing houses, and I'd be like, rain turn off, rain turn on. And, as a kid, you don't understand that that's just things happening, or maybe I was actually a psychic that was predicting that it was going to turn off versus actually turning off the weather. But anyway, I stopped hiding my gifts. Blah, 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 because I need to trip over my tongue. I stopped hiding my gifts because of people like you, because people like you inspire and create safety in a space where it's not always, you're not always made to feel safe.
And what would you say to people who are wanting to dive deeper into their gifts? Because you have a program running right now or about to start.
Yeah, I do.
So what kind of, I guess, help, guidance do you give to people that have been punished or their gifts have been vilified unknowingly? Is typically how I see it, is unknowingly by their parents or by their upbringing, and they've learned to suppress that. So how do you help them to access that again?
That's a great question. So I have been trained in something. There was a master certification program to learn how to retrain your subconscious mind. So what I've done is what's called a timeline technique, is somewhat similar to the inner child healing, where you go back to a version of yourself.
Yeah.
But we look at your timeline and you come above the timeline and look down at an experience that told you that it wasn't safe to have your gifts. So whether that be like a religious trauma of some sort, or a family member that told you it wasn't safe, or the fear of being seen, or the fear of spirits, because in the media it's very vilified. Again, you've got movies like The Conjuring where it makes it absolutely terrifying to think about being a part of spirit's world. And I can assure you that spirit does not operate like that at all. At all. I've seen all 4 Conjurings, and although they scared the ever-loving out of me, they're not even remotely close to anything that I've ever experienced. That being said, you do have to protect yourself from
Yeah, I went to the theater to see Conjuring 2, and I came home and I smudged myself.
I was like, I think I caught something off that movie. Like, yeah, I felt exactly.
It was so creepy to me.
It was just like, and they say it's based on real life. Please know that whatever maybe the line of it was based on real life, the actual experiences, no, that is just blown way out of proportion. But it can leave a mark, right? So we get conditioned by the TV, we get conditioned by different things that we experience in our lives, we get conditioned by different things that we're told. If you've got somebody that's really superstitious and they believe in everything evil, they may have told you that it's not safe to connect with spirit, and it's not safe to be part of any of that. So what I do is go back to that place in your life where it was made to feel unsafe, which is typically between the ages of 0 to 7, and we just view it. So you're kind of remote viewing it from above, and then you just let go of all the emotions attached to it. And once you do that, you come into a place of homeostasis in your body, which is beautiful. But that can't be all, because your nervous system is wired or imprinted to react a certain way to certain stimuli. So basically, you want to come back to a place where you can then regulate yourself, which is why meditation is so beautiful for when you're doing a mediumship session beforehand. I teach something called blissed out breath, which is another course. It's where you regulate your nervous system to come between your parasympathetic and your sympathetic. So your sympathetic is when you're really activated. You're feeling scared, you're feeling anxious, you're sweating, you're reacting physically to whatever's going on. Your parasympathetic is when you rest and digest. So you're in a place where you can eat, digest. Your body is not basically turning on because it thinks it's about to fight a bear. You want to be in that parasympathetic or those brainwave states that allow you to tap into spirit, because you don't want the busyness of your mind or your prefrontal cortex to turn off because you are activated. So I teach this in a way that is very scientific. And so if you like data, it teaches the data, because I'm sort of one of those people who gets stuck between my head and my heart, where it has to make sense to me, but then I believe in the ethereal. So it's like, I'm basically the bridge between the two, because I can't have it work and then me not understand how it works.
Yeah.
So I teach people the science behind why it works, so that they can sort of, again, bridge the gap for themselves, especially if you've made to feel that it's not safe. Sometimes data makes you feel better.
Absolutely. And I think it's something that's missing a lot from the other real world, is having that kind of scientific data. And there's a lot of information out there that's like, well, it might work and it might not,
Right.
and so it makes it hard for people to make informed choices as to what's going to best work for them.
Absolutely. And your breath is the easiest thing to use.
Yeah.
So with the blissed out breath, I teach you how to actually track your HRV. So if you've got an Apple Watch, let's say, or you've got an Oura Ring, like what I have here, you can actually track your heart rate variability. And your heart rate variability is your nervous system's ability to react and respond to stress. So basically, you can actually have a measurement of how versatile your nervous system is or isn't.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool. So I teach you what that looks like, what you want it to look like, and then how to get there.
Yeah.
So it's a frequency, which of course I fucking love because am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's Catherine. We're allowed to swear on here. Or do you not swear on here?
It depends on the day, right?
I swear a lot. If that offends you, sorry, not sorry. So yeah, you get this frequency where you're at a specific rate of breath. So you want your breath to be anywhere between 5 to 7 breaths per minute, which then creates the brainwave states that you need to be in order to channel. So this is why nervous system regulation is so important for mediums, because you want to be in a position that you are able to receive without all of the noise of, I have to pick up the kids at 4, I have to go do this, I have to go do that. What about this? Sally said that. You don't want any of that, right? So
Yeah.
you're training your brain to get you to a specific brainwave state. And the more that you train your brain and your nervous system, the easier it becomes to tune in. And then once you're able to tune in, I teach you what's called a psychic dictionary. So it will essentially be the way that spirit communicates with you.
Yeah.
And you have an agreement between you and spirit of how they communicate with you. So everybody thinks they're at the mercy of whatever they receive. We're not.
Yeah.
We get to be in charge of it. So I used to have spirits at the side of my bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
That gets really tiring. So I basically told them, hey, 9 to 9, if I call on you, you're welcome to come through. If it's something that's an emergency or somebody needs a message and I just happen to be by them, maybe I'll deliver it, basically. Like, don't count on it, but if I'm in the right space where I can connect and receive the message, there's every once in a while where I'll go on somebody's stories and I'll be like, hey, do you want this message?
Yeah.
Because I feel they need it and I don't want to be a gatekeeper of people's messages. That's my own preference. Some people don't do that at all. They don't want to have anything to do with that. It's only when people call on them for a reading.
Yeah.
That's okay too. It's very infrequently that I would give them on Instagram in that way, and it will only be at my own leisure, not as somebody messaging me and being like, hey, I need a free reading. No.
Yeah.
You want to have really clear boundaries with what it is you are and are not willing to do. So you get to dictate what your relationship with spirit is like. So I would have people then create their own psychic dictionary. So like, what did that impression feel like? Where did it show up in my body? How was the sensation? What happened right before, right? What happened right after? So that they get in the habit of creating what's called evidence. So your brain will rewire itself once you create an evidence procedure of something that you've received. So for example, let's say that every time that you sang, your parent told you don't sing. You're going to be conditioned and wired in your nervous system to think that singing is unsafe. What we are doing is rewiring your brain or the neurological pathways to create safety in giving messages. So that's where practice then comes into play. So you learn your psychic dictionary, you go through these processes with subconscious mind techniques, and then from there we learn our blissed out breath, which is your breath work, and then you're tuning in. Then we're doing holy fire Reiki meditations where you are releasing any energy that doesn't serve you. And then from there, you're going to start to tune in and have your sessions or mini sessions with yourself. And then I'm going to make it really playful, which I'm excited about. I'm going to take the cards and I'm going to hold them up and have people tune into which card that I'm going to pick.
Okay.
So that there's like fun activities in it so that people aren't just feeling like, I have to sit here and read a person. Like, no, we're going to really ease you into it so that you don't feel traumatized.
So I think it's so important to do that, to play, like use it for fun and games and things that don't really matter.
Right.
Because when it's a person sitting across from you, it's like, I always felt like I have their life in my hands right now. Right. And everything that I say, it has an impact.
It does.
But if I'm like, I've played it with like the NHL, Stanley Cup finals, who's going to win? And I'll tune in and then I'm always like, damn, I should have betted on that.
Right? Yeah, totally. I love that. So good. And it's such a great way and it's easy, right? It's not something that you are betting on that you're like, oh, there's my whole life savings. Like, she's gone. Like last night, for example, I had my cards out with my daughter and she's like, Mommy, I want to play pick a card. And I was like, oh, this could be fun. So I just held up 5 cards and I said, I want you to find the raven. And she found it. And I was like, whoa. Okay, I would like you to find the bald eagle. And she found it. I was like, damn, my kid's and like obviously she would be because she's living with it and breathing it every single day because this is what I do. But to play with it and for it to be fun for her, and then when she missed, to make that okay, right? Because realistically, when you're doing mediumship reading, you are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Your interpretations aren't always going to be accurate.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even up to you to make an interpretation. It's up to that person to receive little red wagon and they're going to know what it means. You're not going to have a clue.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to be sitting there like, wow, That was odd. I had one where they were like singing Mickey Mouse, and I'm like, okay. How about singing Mickey Mouse? And they were like, oh my God, you just blew my mind. My dad went to Mickey or to the kingdom, the Magic Kingdom for his last hurrah or whatever. So you're going to get to know the way that spirit speaks to you. You're going to get to know the way that you communicate with them and how you want to be communicated to, right? It's like a synergetic relationship. You are not at the mercy of whatever they're going to give you. You are in full control of how this experience plays out for you. And I'm going to teach you the confidence that it takes to feel that way.
Yeah.
And then from there, I also have a program that I'm tacking onto it that is separate, where I'm teaching people how to build a business from it. Because I feel like that part of it for me, there was no business guidance whatsoever when I learned. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10 and I'm 40 now. So I feel like there's a lot of wealth of knowledge that I could give someone that if they did want to decide to become a medium or to use their spiritual gifts, or even if they don't want to learn anything about mediumship whatsoever, and they just want to learn how to create a business, they could then take this portion of the course and implement the very, like, it'll be basic, but it will be enough that you walk out and you're like, okay, I know that I need to set this business name up, and I know that I need to do this with my taxes, and I know that I need to track that, and I need to be aware of this, and putting you in a position to set you up for success so that you're not floundering with, what do I do with this? I just learned this really cool skill and I want to bring it out to the world. And then I'm stuck because I don't know how to get myself out there. I don't know how to do readings, and everybody's going to put their own flavor on it. And it was a really interesting experience coming to the conclusion that I was going to share the business piece of it, because I was talking to my husband and I said, oh, I think I'm going to do this and help people in that way. And he goes, aren't you going to take away from your own client? And I had thought about that, and I'm like, okay, except that's a limiting belief. That's implying that there's not enough for all of us, right? Us sitting here, we're competition. We're not competition, because Catherine is different. I'm different. Everyone is different, and they bring their own flavor to it. And that's the beauty of it. I'm going to deliver messages in a different way than you are. They're going to deliver messages in a different way than I am. I have one client who signed up, beautiful human being. She's a nurse psychotherapist. I just got full body chills. She's going to bring something completely different that I don't know about or can't offer. And how beautiful is that? And who am I to prevent that from happening by hoarding it all for myself? That's just telling the universe, hey, there's not enough for me, so give me less. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, no, let's give everybody everything. And create this beautiful web, which is ironic because you pulled the spider card right away. Let's make this beautiful web of people that are able to share these gifts. And the beauty of it is, I know that I operate from an ethical space, right? Like what you said about you have people's entire lives in your hands. I used to be a realtor, so I literally have their entire like financial well-being in my hands. I take this very seriously, because what you say to somebody, they're hanging on to those words. And that's where it's important too, to have really solid disclaimers, right? Yes, what I'm saying to you is a mediumship session, but are you bound? Is this gospel? Is this like, a rule book? No, it is up for your own discernment. You need to decide to take whatever I give you and leave the rest, because ultimately it's their life's experience and they need to be responsible for that. But I'm also playing a part in touching their energy in some way. And it's really important to be ethical in how you do that and not exaggerate or make things sound better than they are, or make things sound worse than what they are. Like, you have to be very clear in how you are communicating these messages with people, which is why the psychic dictionary is so beautiful. So there are bi-weekly calls that we're going to do practices on, and then I'm going to do real life coaching. What's going to come up is people are going to get in their own way, right? I just made that up. That's what I used to tell myself all the time. That's bullshit. You just made that up. There's no way that could be true. And then people have messaged me like a week later, by the way, remember when you said this and I had no clue what you were talking about? This just happened. And it's like, that is what we're really going to coach on in real time. So if you're reading one of your fellow cohorts, and they're saying, oh, that doesn't really resonate, that's okay. You don't have to hit 100% all the time. You're not being marked on this. You're not in school. Do you want to deliver a really impactful session? Absolutely. But don't do it at the cost of anyone, right? Including your own well-being or your own confidence. I really want to build confidence in people, because that is one thing at the beginning, to this day, actually, I will say. I'm over here like, I'm not a medium. It's imposter syndrome, right? And then somebody will come and they confirm, and it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right? You need to build that evidence procedure in order to make yourself feel really good about it. So this is where using your psychic dictionary and allowing yourself to communicate in ways that feel good to you and for the person to receive, like it's a very symbiotic relationship, and I'm just pumped.
That sounds
Thank you
awesome.
for asking. I just was like,
sounds awesome. And I just want to kind of trace back a little bit to when you were talking about, trusting that information and stuff that you're receiving. And what I found for myself was, as a child, being told that what I was feeling was not okay or it's not right.
Invalidation.
Yes, that invalidation. And it's like, no, I am feeling sad. Well, you have no reason to feel sad, so you need to move past it. And that was a big block for me as I was stepping into my gifts, was learning to trust that how I'm feeling is 100% correct for me right now in this moment. And so I wondered, like, do you help people with that as well, with those kind of invalidations as children when it comes to their emotional experience or how they're receiving the world?
That is beautiful, and absolutely. So we go through the 5 main emotions. So there's sadness and anger that you work through together because they're hand in hand. So usually anger is as a result of actually being sad about something in some way or another, or grief. So we go through anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and shame.
Beautiful.
And all of those will cover off, in theory, or hopefully. And people will go into it with an expectation. Oh, I thought that this situation that I had was going to show up.
Yeah.
No, it's whatever needs to drop in is going to drop in. And it probably had nothing to do with what you thought it had to do with. The consistent invalidation. This is another example of remapping your nervous system and your neurological pathways through consistency, right? So let's say, for example, that's something that you struggled with. You might use your frequency with your breath work to think to yourself positive affirmations as you're breathing.
Yeah.
So the feelings that I'm feeling are valid, or the experiences that I'm having in this spiritual situation are valid while you're breathing at your resonance rate. So you're actually training your nervous system to be like, oh, it is safe for me to tune in. It is safe for me to feel what I feel. It is safe. What I suspect will happen, because this is what happened to me, you're going to have to deal with all your shit. All your stuff's going to bubble to the surface just by signing up. Some of my students are like, oh, this is happening and that's happening. I'm like, absolutely. Because the moment that you sign up, you are tapped into that energy.
Yeah.
So all these things will rise and bubble to the surface, and we will work through that together. The coachings are bi-weekly on Tuesday evenings. And then Fridays, I've got bonus sessions, not mandatory, but none of it is really. It's up to you. It's your own.
Yeah.
If you pay for it, please show up.
Yeah.
Because I would hate for you to lose out on your money. So Fridays, every other Friday, then I have a bonus session from noon to 1:30 to, talk through things, get that coaching, the support that you need, the Holy Fire Reiki, the energy if it feels off, let them go through additional sessions. We can create anchors as well. So have you ever done EFT tapping?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so tapping's great. So we would use maybe EFT tapping, which will likely be part of the course as well, because I'm still sort of working out. Basically, I have people sign up to make sure that it's something they want, and then I create it. I already have the outline and everything done before I do that.
Yeah.
But then the actual video modules themselves, I move through it sort of in a live couple weeks ahead of time basis, so that people are getting exactly what they need, because then I know, I have a better idea of who's coming through.
Yeah.
So EFT tapping is great, and then you can create an anchor on your hand. So let's say you EFT tapped through, even though I'm feeling nervous about giving this reading, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then I would move to the positive side of it. I'm intuitive as fuck, and you might have that as part of your tapping session. Then you can create an anchor on your body by going back through whenever it was that you felt that you were at your absolute most intuitive, and you anchor that feeling on your body, and then in the future, just before you're going to do a session with someone, you can tap that anchor and feel that flush of whatever it was that made you feel intuitive as fuck. So that you're literally walking in and you're like, even if I'm nervous, I have this tool here that I can just tap on my finger.
Yeah.
And I'm right back to that version of myself that felt really intuitive. And then again, it creates those neural pathways to reinforce that you are intuitive, because you always have been.
And that's such an important message. It's like, there's so many that I hear from that are like, I don't know if I'm intuitive. I don't know if I can trust myself. I don't know if I am gifted or if I am a healer or, and yet they have these callings that are coming up that are leading them to people like yourself. And, they're wanting to take these courses and stuff. So do you believe that everybody is intuitive or has the ability to become more intuitive?
I believe everybody has it. I don't believe everyone should use it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay.
Here's what I mean. If your intentions are pure, if you are not doing this from a position to have all the money and do uncomfortable things with it.
Yeah.
Because I think that abundance is fantastic. The more good people that have more money can do more good things. And I'm not suggesting anybody that is watching this is not one of these people, right? What I'm saying is not everybody that has intuition uses it in a loving way.
Yeah.
And so if you are looking to become a medium for the sake of you think it's cool and trendy, and that's a wrong reason. If you're doing it because you love people, you want to help people, maybe you went through your own loss that brought you to this path, that absolutely, yes. Do you have the gifts? You're born with them. Innately, you are connected to oneness consciousness. Yes. Should you exercise that in a business platform or in a giving readings platform? Not always.
Yeah.
And you need to use your own discernment. You know who you are. Hopefully you have enough awareness. You probably do if you're on this channel to know what is good for you and what's not. And maybe, if I'm talking about all the ethical things and that feels uncomfortable to you, maybe I'm holding up a mirror for you to look at something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I think everybody out there has the gifts. Just not everybody should use them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And
I've never heard anybody say that before.
No, I agree with you to an extent. And I would also kind of add to that if you're someone who is perhaps doing it for unethical reasons, that it's an opportunity to heal.
Right.
And kind of shift what that energy is. Because to me, it would be like a karmic imprint from a previous lifetime or something that's coming forward and then just kind of distorting that mirror. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be paid well. I like to be paid well. My sessions are hella expensive. That being said, when good people have good money, it's because they want to do good things. So being really conscious of, am I doing this for the right reason? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And I think, there's been so much stigma around money and around mediumships or mediums receiving money for their gifts. A lot of talk about, if you have a gift, you should just give it to people for free. How do you feel about that?
Are you going to pay my rent? I don't have rent. I have 2 mortgages actually. I struggled with that at the beginning.
Yeah.
I undercharged absolutely. Which is interesting. I was a realtor, so I got paid very well, like ridiculously well. And to be honest with you, as a realtor, I felt I was overpaid. That was too much. That was in the sense of for what I was doing. That being said, people were paying for my expertise, and there's a lot of liability. As a medium, I feel energetically it takes a lot. So I do not feel that I should be forever giving it away for free.
Yeah.
Which is why I have my Blissed Out Breath program as a pay what you can.
Yeah.
Because I do want to have something available that is helpful, because this can literally rewire your entire nervous system. And I want to do that for people who do not have the means to do other things, but still want to have access to something that I offer in some way. But I think people should be paid really well for mediumship, because you are not just the medium in the moment. Like what you guys see is us delivering a message to you for an hour, let's say. What you're not seeing is that we had to smudge the entire room before you got here. We had to do the blissed out breath or do meditation or do whatever it is to put ourselves in a position to receive for you. We had to go through all of the karmic things that have come up for ourselves, go through the inner child work, go through the past life stuff to heal things that needed healing, to put ourselves in a position to be the clearest conduit for you. That takes a lot of effort and energy. And like from a personal perspective, I've spent about 60K on education at least. And my husband's like, damn girl, you don't even have a university degree. And I'm like, I do. It's just not recognized in the same traditional way.
Yeah.
It's like the university of the universe, I guess. But why wouldn't you want to pay us well?
Yeah.
How about we ask that question? Why?
Yeah.
Do you go to work and you want to be paid? Absolutely. If someone were to ask you to go to work and do it for free, you wouldn't. But because we enjoy it, it makes people think, well, maybe it's not quite work. It's still work. It's just I like it. And I would challenge anybody out there, if you have a job that you don't like, this is available to you. What we do, where we get to enjoy our lives, we get to work with people, connect with people, help people, all of that is available to you. It's your conditioning that has convinced you otherwise. And so we have deconditioned that,
Yeah.
which has put us in a position to understand that the universe is just going to provide.
Yeah.
And it just is. And it always shows up. Like literally, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to sell my cottage. And then like somebody gives me $5,000 out of nowhere. Like, cool.
Not selling it this month.
No, not today. Not today.
That's awesome.
I love it.
And I think that's a great bridger over, because you talk a lot about manifestation and you
do.
teach people how to manifest as well. So I
do.
think this is a perfect segue over to that.
I love it. So manifestation is another obsession. Your subconscious mind beliefs actually quite frequently also dictate what is available to you or what you feel is available to you. So people get really stuck within themselves thinking, for example, you might be sitting there looking at me and being like, that's not possible for me. It is. You have to decide that it is. You have to believe that it is. So when you restructure your belief system to be more in alignment with the life that you would like, you put yourself in a position to receive, because you're flagging to the universe, hey, I'm not tolerating anything other than what I want. When you continue to go to work at a job that you don't like, you're telling the universe, hey, I want more of this. And the universe listens because they don't care. They're just like, oh, you wanted that? Cool. I'm going to serve it up for you again tomorrow. Where think of it like a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, there's a plethora of different things on the menu that you could eat, have, drink. What do you want? Get clear on what you want. Not what you think your husband wants you to order or your friend that you're with is going to order. What do you actually want? And when you get super clear about what you want, you now have to align your belief system to follow suit. And when you align your belief system to follow suit, the universe is like, oh, I see what you did there. Let me just provide that to you. And away you go. Like there's been, I don't know how many times where I have this, we'll call it a flip of a memory or a flip of a energy where I'm like, oh, maybe that's not possible for me. Or maybe that's not happening right now. Or maybe the universe is this. I'm going to share a very personal story right now. I haven't shared it publicly anywhere. So if my throat chakra starts to close, you know why. So in May, I just got chills. I decided to make Blissed Out Breath a pay what you can course. And I said to the universe, I'm going to make this pay what you can because I trust and know that you are going to support me. And this was right at the time when I was thinking about selling my cottage because it was getting tight. And I said, I just know that you're going to support me. And my husband's like, why are you doing this? Like, this is the opposite of what you need to be doing right now. You should be charging $500 a piece or more for that. And I said, no, I'm going to just trust that this is going to work. And he's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you keep saying that.
When is he going to clue in?
Right? You keep saying that, but then it keeps working. And he's like, yeah, that's true. I should probably just be quiet. Yes, you should. So I make it a pay what you can course. I put it out into the world. I have like maybe 20 people sign up and they pay a varying degree of whatever they feel comfortable paying. Beautiful. Made me hella uncomfortable. I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't worth that much. Oh, because what I came to realize was when I was a real estate agent, my worth was directly tied to how much I could make. Just to give you some perspective, I was making about $300K a year and I left that job because it burnt me the fuck out and I hated it. I just couldn't enjoy it anymore. I used to love helping people, but then it started to come to a point where I wasn't with my family. Yeah. And that is where the line, we're not crossing that line anymore. If I'm not available to put my kids to bed at night, it ain't happening. Yeah. So left that job, loved being paid really well, tied all my worth to that. So then when I did this pay what you can course, I was so uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, look, there's my shit again. I guess I'm going to have to heal that too. But the universe understood the assignment. So one morning I woke up and I was like, oh, I should go to a bingo hall. Okay. That's weird. Okay. So my mom was a gambling addict before she died. So I have very strict rules with myself. I go gambling maybe 2-3 times a year in like honor of her memory. And I will literally drive all the way to the States to go. I don't know why, I just like it there. Okay. And then, every once in a while I'll do it here in town. So I wake up and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to the bingo hall today. And I drive there after my husband's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Like I'll manage the kids or get them wherever they need to be. And I'm sitting and I'm like feeling a pull to one side and I'm like, okay, that was odd. And then I just went over there and then I came back around and I was like feeling a pull to that side again. So I ended up on the same machine that I was on earlier that morning. And I had $100 left and I was like, ah, fuck it. And I threw it in the machine and I was like, boom, boom, boom. This is $1 machine, okay? These were $10 a freaking roll. I got the double bonus and I'm sitting there and I was doing my blissed out breath breathing, I might just say. Okay. I was counting 8 for whatever reason. 8 felt really good that day. So I was counting like breathing in and then out before I would hit the button. And they have a link at the top and it's like a little link, whatever links to the other machines all across wherever you are. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm about to win the jackpot. Like I felt it, which is called claircognizance, where you just know. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay, breathe. And I press the button and it flips around and you get these 3 little pegs. And the pegs come down and you win each whatever's on it. And I won the 3. And then it goes into the next round where you actually spin the wheel and get the thing. It was a Wheel of Fortune. And sure enough, it fucking stops and it's like 500, 400 jackpot. I won $95,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know. I was like, what the heck just happened? Disclaimer, okay? I cannot promise if I teach you mediumship or manifest that shit, which is my next course coming up. I can't promise you that that will happen for you. But my intuition just jolted me, told me to go. I followed it. I could have easily convinced myself, oh, you just made that up, or your mom's a gambling addict, so you must be too. Yeah. No, I just went and it happened, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So I feel by allowing blissed out breath to be a pay what you can, the universe was like, I got you.
Yeah.
And because I thought to myself, it's possible. And the other thing I was telling myself at the time, and this is really important, I allow abundance to show up for me in any way, shape, or form. And then when I wake up in the morning, I say, universe, show me how good it can get every day. And I'm doing my breathing while I do it because I'm affirming to the universe, hey, I'm on your frequency. I'm on the frequency of what I want, not the frequency of what I already have or what I don't want.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you are opening up the portal. So I like to think of money like a river. And you have a bunch of different little tiny rivers coming into a giant lake. You are the giant lake. You need to open up yourself to all the little rivers. And the mistake people often make is thinking that if you work a 9 to 5 and this is your only source of income, that money can't come from anywhere else. That is not true. That is horseshit. You can get money from anywhere. I've had an old client show up and give me $5,000 cash because she loved the work that I did. Thank you. My husband's granny, she just randomly gave us $3,500 once. Yeah. It's like you do not have to work for everything that you receive. I can't tell you how many times people give me beautiful gifts. Or even Catherine was saying, somebody she knows gifted her these pillows. These are freaking gorgeous pillows. Somebody can gift you anything at any time. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I said to my husband, my next car is going to be something fun. My dad called me the next day and offered me his convertible. All I have to do is get it safe. Like I have to pay for the safety or whatever, but gifted it. So it's like, stop limiting yourself based on what somebody else told you. Yeah. If your parents were terrible with money, that's not your story. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. It only remains your story if you allow it. And so Catherine and I are cycle breakers, right? We've got all of this ancestral stuff, which comes through as epigenetics and is expressed through your genes in a specific way. Past life healing, regressions, all the beautiful things that she does, the inner child healing. These are all really fantastic tools to use to stop all of what you don't want and move forward with what you do, because you are reconfiguring your energetic DNA. Ooh, I like that. To be what you want versus be what you were given. Yeah. I think of it like a poker game. If I was given a bunch of 2s, I've got to choose whether I like it or not. How am I going to play that hand? This is what I keep explaining to my husband. How are you going to play the hand that you were dealt? Is it ideal? No. Could you sit here blaming everyone else? Absolutely. How far is that going to get you? You're tripping over yourself, because once you were given whatever you were given, sexual trauma, limiting beliefs, struggles around money, lack of education, whatever the case may be, you have it now. What are you doing with it? What are you going to do about that? Yeah. You are going to put yourself in a position where you can move through it.
Yeah. And I was actually just talking to a client prior to us doing this morning, where it's like, yes, that is where your story started.
Exactly.
But why do you want to keep believing this same painful story when you have access to this new belief system now, you understand this is what the story was, this is how it's played out, and now you're in this moment of choice.
Yep.
Where you get to go, I am going to start choosing differently now.
I love that moment of choice.
Yeah.
You should coin that.
I might.
It's going in the dictionary.
Yes. So I'm just, because you brought your husband into this, I
Yeah.
understand that he's going on his own spiritual journey now.
It's been a wild ride. So one night we were sitting in the living room. Well, how much time do we have? Because I don't.
We've got like 20-ish minutes.
Okay, cool. So my husband's dad passed in 2023. And after he passed away, my husband did not believe anything that I said, okay? Like, I'm fairly certain he thought I needed medication. Fair. Fair. So his dad passed away. We are at the funeral home, and him and his mom had found these floorboards from their previous barn. Okay, so we live up the road from the barn that his granny had when he was a kid. It was bought by someone else. They said, anybody who wants any of this wood, come and get it. So they went and got these pieces of wood. So everybody's kind of squabbling, we'll say, about what urn they're going to put him in. And he came and he was like, tell Dave to make it. And I was like, oh, that was interesting. So I just turned around and I said, Dave, why don't you make the urn out of the floorboards that you got from the barn? So you have to keep in mind, I never saw the barn ever. Never went there. I mean, we've driven past, but I've never seen the inside of the barn. And this was pretty new in my journey. Like I hadn't been practicing maybe a year, but never on him. And so the next day we go for a walk and I said, okay, I'm getting this really weird visual. It's the inside of the barn. There's a post here. There's a shelf here. And then there's a radio. I'm going to draw it on a map for you. So I drew it out and he's like, you've never seen the barn. We had no pictures of the barn. And I said, no. And he goes, that's where I got the floorboards for my dad's urn. And he was like,
yeah.
So he started to believe, then he started to get signs. So he was getting signs from everywhere. His dad specifically with like hawks, and we have bald eagles around our house. There's 2 of them. They just are always out. And then he'll see deer in the field, and him and his dad used to hunt and fish together quite a bit. So then one night we're just sitting on the couch, and when I get really upset about something, he's like, you turn green. And I'm like, what in the Shrek is this? And he's like, no, you turn green. It's my heart chakra, right? When I'm like super passionate and I'm just like, ah. And so he one night was like, oh, you're turning green. And I was like, am I going to throw up? Like, what is happening here? But he sees auras, which is so freaking cool. I have not met many people who see colors in that way on the outside of people. So that was neat. Then we're sitting there and he's like, okay, I feel like I'm channeling. His eyes started fluttering. And then he's like, I see, was it Lincoln? I think it was Lincoln. And he's like, he's got a left eye and it's black. And all I see is his face on a bill and it's his black left eye. So I Googled the spiritual meaning of it because I was not pulling up anything. I'm pretty sure it's Lincoln. It might be someone else. He got shot in that eye and it was showing up as dark black to my husband.
Wow.
I know. And he was like, I just got chills again. He's like, what the heck is happening to me? And I'm like, I don't know. So then if I would do like a mediumship reading night, I'd come home and he'd be like, my legs are jumping. It's like your energy is coming through the bed at me. And then one night we're both laying there and he's like, is the bed vibrating? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And he's like, do you deal with this all the time? And I was like, yeah, kind of, because it's just energy, right? Like it's just a flow of energy. And I was clearing myself at the time. So it was like whatever I had picked up was shimmying off. And he's like, wow, that's pretty wild. So then now he pulls his own cards every morning. He's actually purchased, which is funny because we have like shared money. He purchases my courses. And he comes and he sits and he listens and he's like, this is such a different way because he's like blue collar carpenter, like did not grow up being allowed to share any emotion whatsoever. And so he's crying every day now.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my gosh, it feels so good to be safe to cry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So it's been monumental for our relationship.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah. It's challenging.
Very difficult.
It's interesting because there's been so much about how men need to be the divine masculine and lead the divine feminine and all of this sort of kind of crap is what I want to call it. because men haven't had a safe space to cry.
Oh,
They haven't had a safe space to feel. And then us women who've been allowed to be emotional our entire lives, we're going, you need to lead me emotionally and hold a safe space for me. And they're like, I have no idea what you even mean. I haven't cried since I was 5, you know?
mhm.
And I feel like it's us women who actually need to lead them. And also it is difficult.
It's so hard because then it's all your crap again, right? It's like the invalidation, I think, for me has been in my life, in my entire life, has been the most difficult thing to move past. I'm at a point now where I'm like, you can't even invalidate me if you try.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that what I say is not actually what happened or gaslight me or any of that. But almost all of the men in my life have in one way or
Okay.
another. And I don't blame them. I'm going to say something terrible. I kind of blame the ladies, to be honest with you, because why have they not been given a safe space to do that? Now, it's also society and patriarchy and all the rest of it. I understand that it's not just the moms that didn't do their job. That's not what I'm saying. They were in positions where they were in survival mode.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the capacity themselves to teach their sons how to feel because they themselves were burying their own feelings.
Yeah.
And we have not set anybody up for success.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why do we walk around sometimes pretending to be holier than thou, expecting all of these huge things from men who have literally no guidebook whatsoever, no instruction manual, no nothing.
Yeah.
And then we're shocked by their resistance.
Yeah.
That is so unfair.
Yeah.
It's so unfair. And it's also unfair that we had to tolerate it in the meantime. We are both having less than what we deserve. And so in our relationship, it has been so painful. I'm not even going to lie to you. I love my husband, but it is painful. And we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. This is how we're speaking to each other. This is what the life that we want to create. We have 2 girls. So like, it's really important to me to ensure that they are seeing what a healthy masculine man actually looks like.
Yeah.
When he cries, we all swarm him and we hug him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I can tell you right now, he never had that. He never even thought that was possible.
Yeah.
And his vulnerability and his rawness, I admire him so much because I'm like, I know where you came from and I can see where you're going because I'm one of those people who loves to see the highest potential in people.
Yeah.
And to be able to sit here and witness it is so beautiful and so trying all at the same time and exhausting.
Yeah.
It just flat out, it is exhausting. I know you work with conscious relationships.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I'm grateful.
No, I totally understand because it's not like this moment of, recognition and you're just like, oh, we have a conscious relationship now. It's no, we are digging deep into all of your shit, all of my shit, and how all of our shit plays together and has fun. And we're going to call it a loving relationship.
Yeah, when it's really just a giant heap of shit that we're trying to like figure out, okay, that was a piece of corn. That goes over there. Sorry.
The undigestible bits.
That's where we're at. Those are what's not coming with us.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But yeah, so that's essentially what it looks like. And I know because John had his awakening in the past year as well, of just him kind of waking up one day and going, holy shit, where have I been?
Mm-hmm.
What have I been doing? And then having all these emotions and stuff come up. And for myself, trying to hold space for him, where sometimes his emotions are triggering an emotion for myself.
Oh, yeah.
And because I know how to express, what I found for myself was almost like overstepping his emotions with my own emotions. Oh, that triggers me. And then it like makes him shut down. And I'm like, I got to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to become this kind of rock space that I expected him to be for his emotions to come up. So
you nailed it. Yeah, when he's saying whatever he's saying. And the other thing is the dynamic of the relationship isn't used to that, right?
Yeah.
He has never been in a position where he's sharing those things with you. So when he does, for me, I was getting really defensive. And I'm like, whoa, okay, hold up. You are literally being him now.
Right.
And that's not what you want. So it creates this whole new level within yourself of discipline almost.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay, how can I rein my own shit in just long enough so he can do his thing so that I can separate it and say whatever I need to say at a different time.
Yeah.
And the timing of when you share information in a conscious relationship or as you're building one is key. Because when I open up, my husband has a tendency to want to open up back, which results in me feeling dumped on because I'm already raw, right? I'm sharing, okay, when you did this, I didn't like it. And then he's like, oh, the floor is open. Here's 12 things you didn't do, or you did or didn't do that I didn't like. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's very invalidating because you didn't validate what I just said. And then you told me a whole bunch of things that I
Yeah.
did. But then I'm catching myself doing the same thing back.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where does the buck stop? Right? Like one of us has to allow the other person their growth. And when I think about my husband, he lets me do whatever I want. Look what I do for a living.
Yeah.
When I left real estate, he was like, are you sure about this? I'm like, I'm going to bet on me. That's the only thing I'm sure of. I'll bet on me. And,
Yeah.
and so he creates the space for me to do that. So how is it fair for me not to recognize my own faults or,
Yeah.
unshiny parts that need work and help and create that space for him? And
Yeah.
my goodness. And the crazy part, I think, is that he has no choice but to evolve. Like if he wants to remain in a relationship with me,
Yeah.
there's no choice but to evolve. And that's pressure, right? When you're not used to having to express your feelings whatsoever, all of a sudden you're like, oh, everything is everything. And you're just like,
Yeah.
so again, allowing him to feel like he's behind. He feels behind. So he's like, you're way up here in your healing journey and I'm way down back here. And I'm like, okay. And making that all right, because it is uncomfortable for me, right? I'm waiting for him to catch up, and the realization I've had is that he just won't. It won't look the same. It's not a linear thing. It's not
Yeah.
I'm up here and he's back here. It's and then we're somewhere in the middle.
Yes. And I don't know about you, but there's times where, like with John's logicalness,
Yes.
where he's able to explain things or get through things that me and my intuitiveness and my emotions and stuff, it's like he hits it hard, and I'm like, oh. I needed that perspective. So I used to think that he was behind or I was in front, or sometimes I think he was getting further ahead of me. And then I'd be like, I've got to go even further ahead.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then it was like, oh no, this is actually just a dance that we're doing together. And sometimes you're leading and sometimes I'm leading, but we're on this path together,
That is so beautiful. And I do think that there is way too much emphasis on social media right now about like divine masculine. Is that like feminine and masculine together? That's what we actually need.
Yes.
Masculine. You're welcome. Just what the hell is that? Divine masculine and divine feminine. And it's like if we're meant to coexist and we have divine masculine and feminine within ourselves, why wouldn't they have divine masculine and feminine within themselves? And then who are we to dictate you have to be some sort of way for me if we don't want it dictated to us that we have to be some sort of way for them? So
Yeah.
I love the term that you used where you said dance, because truly it is, which is funny because my husband just asked me if I wanted to do dance lessons and I'm like, we already are. We're just not physically doing the dance.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's so interesting too, because I think a lot of us women actually crave more men to be in touch with that divine feminine, because it is that emotional, soft, kind of nurturing kind of sense of self. But most of us women that are, and again, this is just my own personal beliefs, but we're so stuck in our own masculine, going, I need a masculine to lead me, but I'm going to be in the masculine and I'm not going to trust a masculine to lead me. I am the masculine here, but also I desire the feminine and you need to be softer. And
how confusing is that?
Yeah, but I find for myself, it was really about when I started to allow my own divine feminine to rise up, and then here's the thing. I call my divine masculine, that's my mind. My feminine is my heart. And so when my mind can create the space for whatever my heart is feeling without my mind going, well, I guess life is over now because look at how sad I am or whatever, then it's like the masculine is leading the feminine.
That's beautiful.
Right? And then for John to be able to do that, or for me to be able to do that for him, where if his divine feminine is like all wounded and like he's all upset and stuff, for my mind to go, let me hear whatever it is that you're needing to share right now. I'll be the masculine in this moment. But
it's so beautiful. I never thought of it that way. I have found as my husband's been going through this, it has changed a lot of relationships for him. Friendships, family stuff. Because what I have come to realize is like he was tolerating a lot more than what he should have been.
Yeah.
And there were no boundaries. So for him, I don't even know where I would like classify him in terms of masculine or feminine, because it's like he was often acting like a hurt little boy, and it was valid because of where he came from and how he was being treated.
Yeah.
And then how can I hold the space while not wanting to reparent him, but also wanting to hold the space for him to reparent himself? Like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of dynamics when someone is healing, when they're not familiar with how to express
Yeah.
and do it in a healthy way. So it's interesting.
And see, it's another unpopular opinion that I have, because I know there's a lot of things out there right now saying you're not there to reparent your spouse.
Right.
And I'm like, if not me, then who?
That's exactly what I said to Dave last week. I'm like, it frustrates me. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's not sexy to want to to have to reparent. You actually have a certain chemical release in your brain that if you are reparenting an adult, you're not going to have sex with that adult because of these hormones that are released, because because you don't have sex with your kids, right? You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So there's this part where it's like a physical reaction, but then at the same time, where else is the help coming from?
And see, I guess for myself, because like when John has his abandonment stuff that's coming up or whatever, and I'm reparenting him, I guess, in a sense, but really what I'm saying to him is, I'm not going to leave you.
That
no matter what
right.
is coming up, I'm not going to leave you. And that's my duty as a wife,
right?
Is to go, hey, I love you.
It's a partnership.
Yes.
And that's where I think there's this fine line between saying you're reparenting someone and you're acting in what a partnership should actually look like.
Yeah.
And many of us have been, it has never been modeled.
Yeah.
What a healthy relationship looks like. And I think people are misinterpreting the word parent. Like, I don't feel entirely like I'm reparenting him. I think there's elements where I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna have to hold space for that 5-year-old version of you. But then, like you said, is a therapist going to do it? They don't have a vested interest the same way that I do.
And I don't know about you, but for myself, in my relationship with John, there was a lot of my inner child that was healed through him.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Where he 100%. Loved parts of my little girl inside that was just like, nobody's ever loved this part of me before, and how beautiful that was. So it's like, why can't I do that for him?
You've nailed it. Because I think about like laughing and singing, and my husband never liked my laughing and singing and my dancing, and I found that really bizarre. And then we sat down and had a conversation, and I was like, well, why does that feel like icky to you? And then he shared some things that happened in a previous relationship, and then what happened in his home life, and like he literally had never experienced it before. So then when he started to love it, because he was given the permission to love it, he's like, oh my gosh, I've been missing out on so much, because, and then that part of him that was enjoying these parts of me, I was like free to express, right? Like just to dance and sing and carry on, and then to be witnessed in that. So it's like you said, it's this beautiful dance. And I get what people are saying about not wanting to reparent. Like, I understand it, but I don't think that it's the same thing as actually showing up in partnership with somebody where you are truly there to hold space.
Yeah. And I think maybe the difference, and maybe they are saying this online and I just scroll past because I see some of the messages, I'm like, I don't agree, whatever. But it sounds like your husband is invested in doing his inner work.
100%.
And that's where I can say John is also invested to doing the inner work. So it's not like I have to pull the weight of the load for him.
That's a really nice like differentiation, because you're right. If it were just me pulling it all and doing it all, then it's like, holy fuck, this is exhausting. That would feel like reparenting to me. Where when he's in it and he's like, okay, seeking to understand and getting curious, and like, rather than it being so cut and dry and abrasive in conversation, it becomes more of a dance.
Yeah.
That to me feels more like learning how to be in partnership with somebody in a way that feels good to you both.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that.
Awesome. This has been such a great conversation.
Talk all day.
I know. I could keep talking too, but I have a client very shortly, so I have to honor that. But if anybody is looking to get a new Oracle deck, we've got these beautiful cards, and look at that. We've got the mouse showing. I think that's, mouse. So I wasn't sure if it was a mouse or a rat. We've got the mouse on the bottom right now. This is the Conscious Creatures Oracle deck, created by Brittany Schmidt. This wonderful, this wonderful lady right here. And you guys can connect with Brittany. What is your?
It's Brittany Bewitched. They wouldn't let me swear, so I was like, it's Brittany Bewitched.
I love it.
For anybody who's in and around the 80s and followed Britney Spears, you will understand that reference.
Well, that's actually how I see it when I see you on Instagram. I'm like, it's Brittany.
That's right. Woo! Yes. If you're looking for my website, it's Brittany, Brittany Schmidt, SCHMIDT.ca.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining me here. Huh?
Thank you.
And we'll chat soon.
Take care, guys.